Summary of Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. The story of Their Eyes Were Watching God is mostly about Janie Crawford, a beautiful and strong black woman from the American South. When Janie comes back to Eatonville, Florida after being away for a long time, the book starts. Folks in Eatonville are talking about how bad it is that Janie left town with a young guy named Teacake, and they are being very critical. Phoebe Watson, Janie's friend, stands up for her and goes to meet her friend while they talk trash. This is the story of the rest of the book. Janie tells Phoebe about her life, including what happened since she left Eatonville the first time. The woman who raised Janie as a child is her grandmother Nanny, who used to be a slave and is very strict but only wants what's best for her grandchild. Before she buys a new house for herself and her granddaughter, Nanny raises Janie in the garden of Mr. and Mrs. Washburn, a nice white couple who hired her after she got her freedom. Because Nanny wants Janie to get ahead in society and have more money, she quickly sets up for Janie to marry Logan Killix, a rich farmer, when she sees her kissing a boy. Janie is unhappy with her marriage to Logan Killix, and she hopes that she will learn to love him. Her dreams are dashed, though, when Logan starts to hurt her and treats her like an animal. Thank goodness, Janie meets the hot and driven Jody Starks one day. He pursues her and finally tells her to leave Logan. Janie agrees, and the two of them get married and move to Eatonville, Florida. In Eatonville, Jody wants to be in charge of both politics and business in the town. She becomes mayor and owns the major shop. In the beginning of her relationship with Jody, Janie loves him, but in the end, she feels stifled by his need for power and control, especially since he sees Janie as nothing more than an aid to his success. Jody gets sick in the end, and as his health gets worse, so does the way he treats Janie. When Janie finally speaks out, Jody beats her badly in front of everyone in the shop. Janie stops being quiet when Jody is close to death and tells him how bad he made her feel. After these talks, Jody dies soon after. After Jody's funeral, Janie doesn't feel sad. Instead, she feels free and excited about living her life and making her dreams come true for the first time in decades. To let possible partners know that she is no longer single, she starts to wear her hair down instead of the head scarf that Jody made her wear. She also starts to wear white clothes. A handsome young guy named Teacake goes into Janie's old shop one day and flirts with her. He then asks her to play checkers with him. Even though Janie wasn't sure at first, she ends up falling in love with Teacake and spends the rest of the night with him. People in the town are worried that Janie will go out with Teacake because he is younger and less well known, but Janie doesn't care what they think and instead listens to her own thoughts. She and Teacake run away together to the Everglades and get married there. Janie and Teacake's married life in the Everglades, or the muck, isn't perfect. He robs her of money, whips her once to show his power, and wrestles with another girl in town named Nunky for fun. A woman in town called Mrs. Turner also makes their marriage difficult because she tells Janie over and over to leave Teacake for her lighter-skinned brother, which is incredibly racist. Still, Janie feels better with Teacake than with any of her other husbands. Teacake treats her like an equal, and their relationship is based on real love and respect for each other. In the muck, they have a lot of friends and often have casual parties at their house. One day, a huge storm comes through and ends their happy life in the muck. In the middle of the storm, a rabid dog bites Teacake and gives him the disease. Teacake doesn't know what's wrong with him at first, but things quickly get worse and he starts to go crazy. Jane calls for a doctor, who tells her that he is sick but reassures her that he will get medicine. Teacake has been sick and crazy, but Janie knows that he has been sure that Janie is cheating on him and has been hiding a loaded gun under his pillow. To keep her own life, Janie has to kill Teacake. She is taken to court, but an all-white, male jury finds her not guilty after she gives a passionate speech about how much she loves Teacake. At the end of the book, Janie goes back to Eatonville, this is where the book begins, and tells Phoebe the end of her story. Janie tells her friend that she is glad to be back, even though she is sad about Teacake's death. She now feels like she has reached the sky and can reach her dreams. Janie thinks that Teacake is still a part of her life because their love gave her a voice and a sense of freedom, which she had never had before he came into her life.
About the author. Zora Neale Hurston was born in Notasulga, Alabama. Her family migrated to Eatonville, Florida, a pioneering all-black village, 3 years after Hurston's birth. Hurston says she was born in Eatonville, which is a major locale in their eyes were watching God. In 1918, Hurston started at Howard University in the South, but she dropped out in 1924. The next year, in 1925, she was offered a grant to Barnard College, which is now part of Columbia University, in New York. She was 36 when she got a Bachelor of Anthropology in 1927. She continued her graduate studies in anthropology at Columbia, but she never finished her degree. Instead, she spent many years in the late 1920s and 1930s doing research in the Caribbean while also writing fiction.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.